Alright, welcome to our channel. I am Wasted. 2.03s is a deep dive into something that mystifies many car buyers: automatic transmissions. You see automatic, you think, great, no clutch pedal, but then you see acronyms: CVT, DCT, AMT, and torque converter. What does it all mean? It's enough to make your head spin. Today we're breaking down the different types of automatic transmissions found in modern vehicles. I'm going to explain, in plain English, how these things get the power from your engine to your wheels. It's more interesting than you might think, I promise. So buckle up, because we're about to embark on a journey through gears, belts, clutches, and clever engineering. Let's explore how each type works, its pros and cons, and which one might suit your driving style best. By the end of this, you'll be an automatic transmission guru, ready to make a much more informed decision the next time you're car shopping. Or you'll just know a lot more about the thing that makes your car go vroom without you having to do the clutch shift gas dance. Either way, it's gonna be fun. First up, let's talk about the granddaddy of them all, the torque converter automatic. Threes is the technology that's been around for decades, serving in everything from your grandma's Buick to heavy-duty pickup trucks. The magic lies in something called a fluid coupling, or the torque converter itself. Imagine two fans facing each other in a sealed, oil-filled donut. One fan, the impeller, is spun by the engine, and it pushes fluid against the other fan, the turbine, which is connected to the transmission and eventually the wheels. No direct mechanical link like a clutch, just fluid power doing the work. This fluid coupling is why torque converter automatics are known for their smoothness. When you're pulling away from a stop or when the transmission is shifting gears, that fluid cushion absorbs a lot of the harshness. It's like a built-in shock absorber for your drivetrain, which is why they feel so refined and comfortable. The technology is also incredibly well understood and robust. Mechanics have been working on these for generations, so they're generally reliable. Now for the pros and cons. The biggest pro is that comfortable, smooth driving experience. They're also generally pretty good for towing because that fluid coupling can handle a lot of torque. However, the main con has been slightly lower fuel efficiency compared to other types. That fluid coupling, while smooth, isn't 100% efficient. There's some energy lost as slip. Modern torque converters are much better, often with lock-up clutches that create a direct mechanical link at cruising speeds to improve efficiency. They often have more gears, 8, 9, even 10 speeds, to keep the engine in its sweet spot. But it's still a factor to consider. Alright, next up we have the CVT, which stands for Continuously Variable Transmission. And threes is where things get a little different. Unlike traditional automatics that have a set number of distinct gears, a CVT doesn't really have gears in the conventional sense. Instead, it uses a clever system of two variable diameter pulleys connected by a strong steel belt or chain. One pulley is connected to the engine, the other to the wheels. By smoothly changing the diameter of these pulleys, the CVT can create an almost infinite number of gear ratios. Think of it like a scooter's transmission, but much more robust and sophisticated for a car. The big selling point of the CVT is its potential for excellent fuel economy. Because it can constantly adjust the gear ratio, it can keep the engine running at its most efficient RPM for a given speed or load. This also contributes to a very smooth ride, especially in city traffic. Since there are no distinct gear shifts, acceleration is seamless. You press the gas, the engine revs to its happy place, and the car just glides forward without any lurching or pauses. For day-to-day commuting, it can be incredibly relaxing. However, CVTs have their quirks. The primary con is the driving feel, particularly under hard acceleration. Because the engine can rev to a certain RPM and just stay there while the car's speed catches up, it can create a disconnected, rubbery sensation. It lacks that satisfying punchy feel of distinct gear changes that many drivers enjoy. To combat this, many manufacturers now program steps into their CVTs to mimic traditional gears. Some are better than others, but it's rarely as engaging as a good torque converter or a DCT. But for efficiency and smoothness, CVTs are hard to beat. Now we're moving into territory that gets performance enthusiasts really excited: the dual clutch transmission, often called DCT or DSG if it's in a Volkswagen Group product. And threes is a seriously clever piece of engineering. Imagine, if you will, two manual transmissions working in parallel, housed within one unit. One clutch controls the odd-numbered gears, first, third, fifth, and so on, and the other clutch controls the even-numbered gears, second, fourth, sixth, etc. The magic happens because while you're accelerating in, say, third gear, the transmission has already pre-selected fourth gear on the other clutch. So when it's time to shift, one clutch disengages as the other engages almost simultaneously. The result? Lightning-fast gear shifts. We're talking milliseconds, far quicker than any human could manage with a traditional manual. This is the biggest pro, and the reason why DCTs are so popular in sports cars and high-performance vehicles. There's minimal interruption in power delivery to the wheels, which means faster acceleration and a really connected, sporty feel. They also tend to be quite efficient, often on par with, or even better than, a manual transmission. However, DCTs aren't without their potential downsides. One of the main cons can be the cost and complexity. These are sophisticated units, and if something goes wrong, repairs can be expensive. Another point is their behavior in low-speed stop-and-go traffic. Because they are essentially automated manuals, they can sometimes feel a bit jerky or hesitant when creeping along. Some systems manage this better than others with sophisticated software, but it's not always as inherently smooth as a good torque converter. There have also been concerns about clutch wear or overheating in very demanding, slow-moving traffic situations for some models. Alright, let's shift gears, so to speak, and talk about the AMT, or Automated Manual Transmission. Now, 3-1 is a bit of a mixed bag and often found in more budget-focused vehicles. Essentially, an AMT is a regular manual gearbox, clutch, gears, the whole shebang, but instead of you operating the clutch pedal and gear lever, a set of electronic actuators and motors do it for you. So, you get the mechanicals of a manual, but the car handles the clutch work and the physical shifting of the gears. There's no clutch pedal for you to press, just a gear selector that typically looks like an automatic's. The primary advantage, and the big pro for AMTs, is cost. Because they're based on simpler, existing manual transmission technology, they are generally cheaper to manufacture than more complex torque converter automatics or DCTs. This makes them an attractive option for keeping the price of entry-level cars down while still offering a two-pedal driving experience. They can also be relatively fuel efficient, again, because they share the direct mechanical link of a manual transmission. Maintenance can sometimes be simpler and less costly too, as the underlying gearbox components are familiar and robust. However, the driving experience is where the cons of an AMT often become quite apparent. The biggest complaint is usually jerky gear shifts. Because the system is essentially automating what a human would do, disengage clutch, select gear, re-engage clutch, it can often lack the smoothness and finesse of a skilled manual driver. You often feel a distinct pause and a bit of a lurch or the infamous head nod as the car shifts. The response time can also feel slower compared to other automatics, making them feel less refined. And finally we arrive at a relatively newer and quite interesting option, the IMT, or Intelligent Manual Transmission. Now, 3 is a bit of a curveball because it's not an automatic in the traditional sense, but it's a two-pedal system that aims to blend the engagement of a manual with some of the convenience of an automatic. Essentially, you still have a traditional H-pattern manual gear shifter and are responsible for selecting the gears. However, there's no clutch pedal. The intelligent part of the system is that sensors detect your intention to shift when you touch the gear lever, for instance, and the car's computer automatically operates the clutch for you. The big pro here is that it offers a more engaging driving experience than a full automatic for those who enjoy shifting gears themselves. It's like having the best of both worlds for a certain type of driver. Many IMT systems also come with features like automatic rev matching on downshifts, which can make your shifts smoother. It's a neat way to keep the manual shifting experience alive while making it more accessible and less demanding. The main con is that it's still not a fully automatic transmission, to shift gears. If you're looking for a car where you can just put it in D and forget about it, then an IMT is definitely not for you. It's a niche product aimed at drivers who want that manual control but are willing to delegate the clutch work. Because it's a newer technology, its availability is also somewhat limited compared to the more established automatic types. It's an interesting compromise, and for the right person, it could be the perfect solution. So there you have it. A whirlwind tour of the most common automatic transmission types you'll find in cars today. As you can see, automatic isn't just one thing anymore. From the smooth and steady torque converter to the efficient CVT, the lightning-fast DCT, the budget-friendly AMT, and the rather unique IMT, Each automatic transmission type has its own set of strengths and limitations. It's a fascinating world of engineering, all designed to make driving easier, more efficient, or more exciting depending on the goal. The key takeaway here is that there's no single best automatic transmission for everyone. It truly depends on your priorities as a driver. Are you all about that plush, seamless ride for your daily commute? A torque converter or a well-sorted CVT might be your jam. Do you crave razor-sharp shifts and maximum performance on your favorite back road? Then a DCT is probably calling your name. Or perhaps you're on a tighter budget but still want a two-pedal car? An AMT could be the answer, provided you're okay with its quirks. So whether you want efficiency, performance, or budget-friendly convenience, there's an option tailored to you. Hopefully this breakdown has demystified the world of automatic transmissions for you. Now you can walk into a dealership, see those acronyms, and know exactly what they mean for your driving experience. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to Wasted 2.0 for more auto insights, deep dives, and maybe even a few more quirks and features along the way. We've got a lot more cool stuff planned. Thanks for watching.